Weather not keeping everyone inside, some businesses say the storm brought a flurry of customers. And lots of folks slid in some fun this morning, enjoying the snow before it turned into that mess of sleet and freezing rain.
I think the snow is so pretty. I've always enjoyed looking at it. So he motivated to get me outside and just kind of enjoy the weather.
We have team coverage checking on the conditions across the Triad. Grace Holland is in Greensboro, Amber Lake is in High Point, and Jenna Krzina in Winston-Salem.
All of this as another burst of snow is falling in parts of the Triad tonight, more than 12 hours since our first flakes this morning. Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley has been right on the money predicting this storm, so let's bring him in to get the latest here.
Tim, would you say some of these snow showers, this is kind of the last gasp of the storm?
Yeah, I'm definitely calling it like overtime or extra innings. It's mostly just for fun, and we're seeing some of these flakes and flurries here in the weather garden right now as well. Really just kind of feels festive, like a snow globe at the moment. Accumulation will be tough to do out of this, but maybe another half an inch or so. It's pretty fleeting. It's in and it is out. But what's happening? We have that low pressure area sliding away from us. So at the heart of it, there's a little extra oomph in the atmosphere. And we're able to generate a couple of these little snow showers, as I mentioned. By the way, the radar not really capturing all of these, so it might look dry on my map here for you. What's happening is the radar beam is missing it to the top. It's really coming down at a good clip in Alamance County though, and good news because you didn't get all that much snow earlier today. Not everybody did. Through the nighttime hours, it will continue to snow in the mountains. We will see ours taper off just to those flurries that we're seeing right now, and we have pretty dry weather setting up for tomorrow. In fact, I expect a lot of sunshine for Monday. Meanwhile, winter storm warnings continue to the west, but we have winter weather advisory for much of the Triad. That means the roads are bad. The storm is done, but the roads are bad. That's what they did here. And if you ask me, I think the roads are going to stay bad for quite a while. The crews have a lot of work to do. Sleet is really difficult to melt and to get rid of. And on top of that, we're not going to be warm. 30 in the morning, 35 tomorrow afternoon, feeling colder because it's a windy day. Those neighborhood streets could stay icy for a long while here in the Triad.
And take a look at those bad roads right now. This is I-40 at Gallimore Dairy Road. It looks like a sheet of ice out there, that truck going pretty slow. Most of us in the Triad will look out the window in the morning at an unplowed road, but that doesn't mean that it won't get cleared eventually. The city of Greensboro has a priority list, starting with the main roads used by emergency vehicles and then working into the neighborhoods.
It is a process, folks. You can check on the road conditions yourself. We have a link to traffic cams so you can know what to expect. All you have to do is text the word roads to 336-379-5775. We'll send the link right to your phone. As the winter storm pounded the Piedmont, our WFMY News 2 crews were in the thick of it.
Despite the wintry conditions, we found that not everyone was stuck inside the house today. Let's start with WFMY News 2's Grace Holland, who's live in Greensboro tonight.
It's pretty quiet out here on Wendover Avenue right now with these nice light flurries that have been flying for a little while now. If you take a look at the road behind me, you can definitely see that there's a lot of work that needs to be done, a lot of snow, a lot of ice, but there were some people who got out on the roads earlier this evening. Some were going to work, others were looking for a hot meal, and those people kept the businesses that were open pretty busy. When the roads get slick, getting anywhere can be tough, and that's when the calls start coming.
Hello, can I help you?
Vino's Pizza. Pizzeria.
At Greensboro takeout restaurants. It's a constant rush at Pizzeria L'Italiano in downtown.
It's been really, really busy. Really busy on deliveries, busy on pickup. You know, we try to be here for the community, do the best we can.
Many customers at Golden Walk.
Well, half our calls are asking if we're open. So you almost want to add, yes, we're open to the end of every greeting.
He says the number of orders is still far less than usual.
At the most, we had about 10 tickets, whereas on a normal busy night, the wait time can get up to 45 minutes.
But the owner of Vino's Italian Cuisine says winter storms like this bring in a big profit for him.
Because we have a lot of competition around the area here, we don't get a lot of business unless few restaurants are open. So that's when we make the money.
With many customers braving the weather to pick up their orders, these guys say stay safe.
You don't want to put yourself in danger just coming out.
Plow crews have a lot of work to do overnight and in the morning, as Tim said. So make sure if you find yourself on the roads with them, you give them plenty of space to do what they need to do and get it all done.
Grace, thank you. Now to another part of Guilford County. WFMY News 2's Amber Lake checked on the conditions in High Point today.
Earlier, she said that the roads were just absolutely terrible. Amber, I got a feeling they got worse since then, huh?
Yeah, Ben, they really have, honestly. I'm at the other end of Wendover Avenue from our Grace Holland, at the intersection of West Wendover Avenue and Penny Road. And this is one of the main roads that they've plowed today. But if you can see it behind me, it's still covered with snow, and it's still snowing, it's still coming down, and it's just going to keep piling on. But even though the road conditions are bad across the Triad, specifically in High Point, it didn't stop some people from getting out and taking advantage of this snow day.
Finding the upside of the snowstorm, High Point's Brian Stockton and his friends couldn't wait to have a little fun.
We come out here every year that it snows. It's kind of become like a tradition that me and my friends do. We'll get together and cook, and then later at night we'll come out here and sled because it's a nice hill.
But that doesn't mean you need to forget about being safe if you're driving in these conditions.
On the way here actually to my friend's house, I was right in front of his house. My car got stuck. I was like, my car's going to make it, and bam, it didn't.
The city of High Point has been plowing roadways since 7 p.m. Sunday night.
It does appear that with the current conditions, the roadways are pretty bad. You know, we're going to try and make as much progress as we can this evening. However, we do ask that residents please continue to stay at home.
The city has 5 trucks out Sunday night and 13 additional trucks clocking in at 7 Monday morning to continue. Brian just happy he spent the day sledding down the hill and not sliding on the road like cars were still doing late into the night.
And now the obvious advice is to stay home if you can. But we know that some people have to go to work and do other things and get out in this. But if you are, some piece of advice, keep your distance from other drivers a little bit more than you're used to. And make sure that you take your time. Make sure that you're planning ahead and you're driving careful and stay vigilant out there.
Now to Forsyth County, one of the areas hardest hit by power outages, with more than 3,000 without lights at its peak today.
There has been a lot of improvements since then. WFMY News 2's Jenna Krasina joins us live now in Winston-Salem. Jenna, how's it going now?
Julie and Ben, well, you know, as the night continues, it keeps getting quieter and quieter, both on the roadways and, you know, everything that we're seeing out here. I'm right in front of 421 and underneath is Research Parkway. But, you know, earlier we've been all around Forsyth County. I spoke with officials and also some folks who wanted to get out of the house today, and we talked to them about why they wanted to get out.
When Triad streets are covered in white, the red glow of a neon open sign really stands out.
I knew Follies would be open. You know, we don't get it much, so when we do get it, you know, everybody gets a little bit excited. Well, most people get a little bit excited. I do, at least.
Mike Garner is among the few who braved the cold and went to one of the only open businesses on Main Street, Follies Draft and Snack.
I live by myself, and, you know, I got tired of sitting at the house. I was cooking all morning and decided I wanted to get out, and I got out, and I knew Follies would be open, and so I stopped here.
Stopping by meant sticking it out on some slick streets.
The truck I drive, the roads are fine for that, but they were pretty tough. If I didn't have the vehicle I have, I'd be a little afraid to, you know, on the roads today. They're pretty bad.
Garner says he didn't lose power back at home. Thousands living nearby did. Jeff Brooks, a spokesperson for Duke Energy, says crews are working hard. Many of those outages now restored.
There is some opportunity for more outages in the evening as some of the limbs that might be weighted down in some areas, you know, give into the tension. But what I think is another concern that happens during these kind of storms is cars hitting utility poles. You know, that's a completely preventable type of damage that happens. And it's usually when people are out and the roads are very icy and slick and they lose control.
Brooks says accidents like that can easily impact 2,000 customers.
You see a Duke Energy crew out tonight or in the morning, and you see them along the road and you have to be on the road, please move over or slow down. because they're out there trying to help you, and we want to get them home safe.
And I did check in with Duke Energy, and they said a lot of progress has been made, specifically here in Winston-Salem, Forsyth County. They're at one point, at the highest peak, this was one of the largest counties hit by those power outages. And at last check, there are about 114 customers without power.
We love to see progress. Hey, to show you how slippery it was, just take a look at this driver.
Yeah, the driver found a big empty parking lot in Greensboro this morning to do some donuts. But here is the message coming from state leaders.
The best way to avoid a car accident or getting stranded is to stay put.
The North Carolina DOT tweeted this safety poem. Snow is cool, snow is pretty, please don't drive today even in your F-150. They also shared this photo of a pickup truck outside Truist Stadium in Winston-Salem. They corrected themselves saying, okay, so the image might be a Tundra, F-150 made the poem work. Point being, no vehicle should be out today.
If you do have to go out, here are 3 things to remember about driving in these wintry conditions. They sound obvious, but law enforcement says they are worth repeating. First, of course, drive slow. You'll have less traction on snow and ice, and we saw this earlier today in downtown Kernersville. Pumping on the gas just causes those wheels to spin out going nowhere fast. Second, don't tailgate anyone. Increasing your following distance to give you extra room in case you need to stop is really important. And third, know your brakes. With anti-lock brakes, there's no need to pump the brake, just press down slowly and then hold down firm. Otherwise, you could cause your car to jerk and fishtail.
North Carolina state troopers across the Triad say they responded to more than 100 calls for service and more than 58 crashes today. In Surry County, I-77 had to shut down due to several wrecks earlier today. That's where members of the National Guard were out. They shared these pictures of Guard members helping out some tractor trailers that skidded out in Surry County.
If you leave your car on the side of the road or highway, it will probably get towed quick. The DOT's quick clearance protocol is in effect right now. Here's what that means. The DOT and State Highway Patrol can legally remove it. The department says quick clearance makes the road safer for drivers who might lose control of their cars. It also prevents potential damage to your abandoned vehicle. If your abandoned car gets towed within city limits, call local police. If it's outside of city limits, call the Highway Patrol.
Thousands lost power in the Triad today, but the number of outages was not as high as anticipated. The Triad got more sleet than ice, and that kept the numbers lower. Duke Energy originally estimated 750,000 outages in the Carolinas. Tonight, a spokesperson said this: "It's encouraging that our outage numbers remain relatively low in the Triad given the potential damaging effects of this storm." Some scattered outages remain in some Triad counties. Here's the map from Duke Energy, but nothing major to report. You want to know how much snow fell on the Triad? Our meteorologist Monique Robinson is here now with a closer look at the numbers.
Yeah, certainly over the last 24 hours, we've had so many storm reports across North Carolina. I know this looks like a very, very messy map, but I'm just going to show you the last at least 6 hours and owning in particularly on Guilford County and even looking at Forsyth County. What you're looking here is both snowfall and ice accumulation reports. That's what we've been seeing over the last few hours, especially as we had that another burst of snow over the last couple of hours. Freezing rain report roughly around 0.02 inches of ice right around Winston-Salem. As we go south into Randolph and Randleman particularly, we had 0.1 inches of ice accumulation, but that's talking about the ice. Well, what about the snowfall totals? Some of those greater snowfall totals, about 5.5 inches of snow in Rural Hall.
Because of all the snow, Guilford County schools and Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools won't have any extracurriculars tomorrow. And this is why. Take a look at Southeast Guilford High School. All Guilford County schools after schools activities are canceled tomorrow and Tuesday. Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools just canceled tomorrow's activities.
The bad road conditions impacting COVID testing and vaccine sites. StarMed canceled its sites tomorrow, including the one at the Four Seasons Town Center in Greensboro. Cone Health also shut down its vaccine and testing sites tomorrow, including 2 in Greensboro. You can reschedule on Cone Health's website. A warming center is open in Greensboro if you or someone you know needs a place to get out of the cold. The Interactive Resource Center partnered with First Baptist Church to open a shelter at the church. It's over on West Friendly Avenue. It's open till noon tomorrow, and then it reopens again tomorrow night.
Okay, the storm has had lots of serious moments, but there was a ton of fun today too, and you guys sent in a bunch of great pictures and videos to us, like this right here that was texted in earlier today from a viewer who said, yeah, a superhero came out in the snow. She texted and said, winter storm didn't cancel my little Johnny's birthday today. The mom had hired Superman to come out and they still showed up for the birthday party. That is a superhero right there. We also have lots of pictures of kids enjoying the snow, sledding. We love to see those smiling faces. One family even built this igloo. You know, that took a lot of time, but it was certainly worth it. That's pretty cool. Take a look at this. What a way to stay warm. Don't we all wish we had a hot tub today that the whole family could get in with the snow? And I have to show you this amazing picture from High Point University. I actually thought this was a painting at first. When you look closely at it, it is just so pretty out there with the snowfall.
Oh, that's my turn to say something about the weather. Hey, we're going to tell you more about what's going on, not just really with the storm, but what comes up afterwards. Cold weather, in fact, one of the coldest weeks of weather we've had in a long time is on the way. That could have a big impact on the roadways and also maybe another threat of winter weather later this week. We'll talk.
The driver went to the hospital after first responders used a crane to lower the trailer to the ground.
We know many of you want to know what our roads look like at this hour and heading into the morning.
Let's check in with our live crews one more time tonight. We are out in Greensboro, High Point, and Winston-Salem. The storm and the conditions left behind changing throughout the day and into the night.
Let's start with WFMY News 2's Grace Holland in Greensboro with the latest. Grace.
I want to show you a quick demonstration of what you need to watch out for as you're heading into the overnight and in the morning. So if I come down here to this pavement I'm standing on, this looks pretty soft, fluffy, right? But if I wipe, you can see how compacted that is. I mean, if I dig my heel into it, it's really hard to get down to that pavement. So that's going to be really slick on roads if you're driving. It's going to be slick on sidewalks. So Amber, what are you seeing over in High Point?
Grace, I'm seeing the exact same thing. It's pretty icy out here in parking lots. And just to show you how the snow is compactful, I tried to make a snowman for Julie, not a snowball fight, because the snow just isn't packing together like it was at the 6 o'clock. So this was my sorry excuse for a snowman for Julie and Ben back in the studio. But like Grace said, the snow just isn't compacting like it was hours ago. So let's check on how it's looking over in Forsyth County with Jenna Krasina.
Hey Amber, it's quiet, it's cold, and it's calm. 421 right behind me, Research Parkway right underneath the bridge there. Not many cars on the roadway, a lot different than we saw earlier this afternoon. But again, if you don't have to go out, don't go out. Keep heeding those warnings from our officials, and I'm going to send things back to you guys in the studio.
Jenna, Grace, and Amber, thank you so much.
We hope they all get back safely.
Yes, and it was not a sorry excuse for a snowman.
I liked it.
I did too. You know what,
Yeah.
Jenny, you taught me something interesting today because we got more sleet than freezing rain today, and you're saying sleet will stick around longer because it actually has more water in it.
Yeah, there's more water content and it's more tightly packed together in a sleet pellet than there is in a snowflake. If you think about it in a certain way, sleet pellets are kind of like little ball bearings or tiny little marbles that fall from the sky as solid ice. Snowflakes are crystals and they have very fine characteristics, very delicate and very thick, really. They melt very easily. Sleet pellets stick around a long while, so think of them like little ice cubes on the ground. We're going to have a tough task melting them, especially without much warmth this week. It's been a pretty day to watch across the Piedmont, hasn't it? This was a High Point. Maybe you're watching it just from inside or on the television. Nice to look at anyway. Not much action going on, although the railroad still running just fine over earlier today. This storm system, pretty impressive in its scope, right? So we had a big storm system. It did not just affect North Carolina. They had horrific icing. And, you know, we got very lucky with our ice situation, courtesy of the sleet hanging on a little longer. The ice has been really bad in northern South Carolina and even over toward Raleigh. They've had a lot of icing as well. And if you live in Montgomery County, you had some very thick icing earlier this afternoon as well. And just for one more refresher how this all works, cold air all the way, that's always going to be snow. That's what we're having right now. But earlier today, we had a thin layer of warm air. We expected this. It was part of our forecast. But that thin layer of warm air, what it does, it melts the snowflake, and then we have enough time to refreeze it into a sleet pellet. If there's not enough time to refreeze it, that's that freezing rain. That's why you're having to scrape the car, and that's what we saw in some areas. A bit of a glaze, but not enough to create those widespread power outages. Little recap of some of these snow totals. By the way, PTI measured 2 inches in Greensboro, Thomasville around 3, Winston around 3 to 3.5, Lexington around 4. Kind of impressive in some areas how much you ended up getting. Biggest totals, of course, are in the mountains. Boone had about 9.5. Wilkes County, Maple Springs had about 7. Danbury, Stokes County about 4 to 5. Just depends on where you are. And some of those totals, not really a storm ender, so we'll get more of them over the next couple of days and fill them in. Cold weather still with us, but the storm goes away. Winds, not really a factor anymore tonight, but it will still be windy tomorrow. Keep this in mind. Dry air, cold air, windy air. That's the way your Monday is shaking out. It'll be cold to start the day in the right around 30-degree range. And then as we go into the afternoon, it's only about 38. It's very winter-like. Next chance of rain this week, that's going to come up on Thursday with a bit of a cold front. Sometimes the models have been wanting to spin up a new system Friday or this weekend. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what's going to happen yet. We're kind of been a little focused on this storm. We'll let you know if there's a threat you need to worry about later on this week. as we look a little closer. For tonight, well, the snowfall's still lingering on. We're still in these extra innings, I guess. Heading into the morning, all of that is over with. And this snowfall, by the way, is not going to make anything worse. Things are already bad. The roads are going to stay bad for the morning. Should improve on the main roadways the middle of the day tomorrow. We'll keep the 40s around all week long.
Fingers crossed we don't have problems later in the week.
Let's keep things calm, please.
Hey, while the snow was serious at times, it was also a lot of fun for families across the Triad.
You texted us so many great photos of your kids out and about, so we wanted to share the smiles with you as we head to the break.
there tonight and tomorrow.
And that was something we thought we may even see a lot more of than we have so far. Do keep an eye on tomorrow. The sun, it'll be coming out. Temperatures staying cold, but it is still windy. The breeze will be with us for a time, gusting at 20 to 30 miles per hour. So it's just going to feel like a real cold day. Wind chills are in the 20s all day long. And